Ascoiquasin, Aquae Nitompak, Qua Risca family. Hebe Natasawis, Li Qua Putump Nacha Shayawank, Nahagansik Qua Shinnecock Nichapayawank, Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island, Natup. Hello, friends and Risca family. I am Hebe Lee of the Whale Clan. I am Narragansett and Shinnecock, and I live and reside in Providence, Rhode Island. I am thankful and here today and thankful for Risca for giving artists like myself a chance to showcase their work and what they do as a folk artist and telling their stories of their culture and just sharing the stories of our culture to all of New England and beyond. I like to talk about me and my artwork. My mom has taught me many skills in Native American art through beading, buckskins, painting, wampum carving, weaving, as well as many other assemblage pieces and works within Native American subjects, as well as community members of my tribe and just Native in general communities through my travels from New York to Providence, Rhode Island. And I would like to share that with you with the community base sharing of the Native American culture through folk art, where it's with storytelling in our artwork and storytelling of history, of a living history that we continue to do to this day. Now, for the fellowship, I featured a lot of my wampum pieces that I did weaving with wampum beads that were traded to me and gifted to me by other Native artists carving wampum and wampum beads alike. So there's that marriage of community, friendship, and teachings with trading materials of like-minded artists of our community. So first, I would like to share with you some new pieces that I have done over, I will say, a 2-year span. First, I would like to share with you is this bias weave piece, which is known as a wampum collar. And as you can see, these are genuine wampum beads. They are native to the New England area, specifically of Rhode Island and Long Island, because we are known for having the best quality of wampum beads that derive from quahog shells. And as you see that rich dark purple against the white wampum. Now the purple in our language is called sucky hog. And then that wampum bead, that white bead is called wampy. And that's where that marriage of that word for wampum comes from. It is the sucky hog of the purple and the wampy of the white. Now the design of this piece is a collar, and this design, as you can see, is called water wave. This is a design I developed myself, and it's to reflect the water waves that is created by the water and the wind together. So this is to remind us and the people of our connection with the water, being coastal natives of the northeast coast. And as you can see, here are some wampum discs. This is a different style and fashion of carving and fashioning wampum. This is a piece. These beads come from Wampum Magic, which is a native wampum distributor that is owned by Native staff and run by Native people. It resides in Long Island. And these beads were gifted to me, and I was able to weave them. And the reason why these beads were gifted to me is because I am one of few artists that weave wampum. And so when they saw that, they traded with me um, to weave some pieces for themselves for their art gallery and their shop. And in return, I was gifted some beads. And just to let you see another design pattern. Now, in the beginning of the intro, I said I was well planned. And this is what this represents. This is Putam. Putamp is the Algonquin Nahaganset word for whale, and not specifically Nahaganset. There's a lot of tribes such as the Wampanoags, the Shinnecocks, the Unkachugs, all of the East Coast that use that same word but pronounce it a little bit differently. In Narragansett, we say Putamp, and this represents the whale. And this is, as you can see, that dark Sucky Hog against the Wampy to show the design and to show that intricate weaving. Now this weaving, as I said, is called the bias weave stitch. And the materials used for this stitch is wampum itself, sinew, buckskin, and other fashioned pieces of wampum to have that closure. Now this is all one piece. This doesn't come apart. This is all one piece, so this will slip right over the head. It's big enough to slip over the head of the wearer who's wearing this. And here's another piece. Now this piece is a little bit different. This is still the bias weave stitch. Some native people call this the legendary stitch, depending on the teacher and the maker of the piece itself. Now this piece is still wampum, however, the cut of beads and where the beads were fashioned from the shell, this type is more called a calico blend of where it's a blend of white and purple, so it collides with each other. So there's not a distinct notion in color of purple and the white, but there is a distinct color of this very luminous at the edge, this luminous white shell from the mussel. And if you can see that, you see a very distinct variation of that luminous pearlescent wampum mussel bead that goes against the wampum. Also would like to share with you some other new pieces. Now, when it comes to wampum, our ancestors weave with wampum for a very long time until contact, even during contact. A lot of wampum belts were traded for treaties and alliance amongst tribal members and as well as non-tribal affiliated people such as colonial people. And so during time, a lot of things have been restricted for Native people to do, such as carving wampum and other type of artifacts, as well as the language and stories. But we are now regaining those same skills with storytelling and craft making. And so because of that, through economic change and exchange, a lot of people still to this day do replica work. And replica work is where you're taking materials of a different kind to still tell a story or to be resemble of a particular artifact or piece. And that's where this comes in. This is a replica piece. Now these are glass beads. These are trade beads, and these beads you still can get till this day, as you can see. And this is what is called a clan title or tribal title, depending on the wearer and why they're wearing it. This denotes a person's status within their tribe, or this also tells what tribe this person is if they're visiting another neighboring tribe. If they are within their tribe, it tells about their clan, and this tells a continuous story. And here's that folk type of interpretation of storytelling with art. And here's that trade. Here's some trade materials right here with that horsehair. And here's that horsehair coming from the Sioux culture, who was known as the horse culture. We have some silk cotton thread that is nice, brilliant red. And here you have that copper. Copper is indigenous to the Northeast. And so here's a continuing story. And this is a full on necklace piece that someone can wear. As I said, it's more of a trade, it's a replica. And as you can see, here's that replica story of the purple sucky hog and that wampy of that white. And this tells the story of the whale as well. As you can see, there's just like that bias weave piece that I showed earlier against each other. You see, that story of telling the whale. And a lot of you may ask, well, those circles pretty much represent the notches that are on the whale's skin. And that pretty much tells the location they are and also the age of the whale. I also like to share with you another replica piece that's made with trade materials, and these are called leg garters. Now, these leg garters are usually worn by men. You see them in Eastern War regalia, but outside of Eastern War regalia, these were just regular accessories worn with native clothing. Now, during ancestral time, women would wear these as well with their garments. And women wore high leggings just like men, depending on the woman's status within the tribe and her duties within the community. And she would wear these high leggings, whether it's with wampum fashion garters or even sometimes finger weave garters that you still see today amongst the native community of the Northeast. Also, like to share on the same topic of replicas and fashioning trade materials in wampum. This is a piece I'd like to share. As you can see, this is a um, full-on set. Here's a necklace right here. These are two hair ties. And right here at the top is a barrette. And this is a woodland style. This is a design that I created myself. And this, the wearer would wear this and more of a traditional with a traditional outfit. You wouldn't really wear this with a fancy dance, jingle dance outfit because those are more fast-paced dances. This one is more for traditional wearers in a traditional dance, or they can wear this to represent their native culture outside of the powwow arena. And that is some of the stories and some of the items that I have that represents wampum. I also have these pieces that are necklaces that are also bias weave pieces. And here's that glass bead replica again in different designs that I've done myself. These can be worn by men as well as women. A lot of jewelry within the Northeast culture, a lot of our stories within the Northeast culture when it comes to wampum and other Eastern style accessories are gender neutral. There's not much of a restriction when it comes to wearing certain artifacts, mostly with, with wampum, with depending on what you're fashioning. Some areas of the Northeast do have particular things that are for women or men, especially when you talk about headgear and head ornaments. And but for wampum, there's not much of a restriction. It's pretty much gender neutral. And that is the story of what I have to share with you pertaining to my art. To wampum weaving is what I've been doing over for pretty much a long time. I'm also known for beading with seed beads, which are check beads that I prefer to use, that are seed beads that derive from designs from quill work. And that's what I'm known for doing. I came across weaving with wampum through my mom because she always carved with wampum. I've been inspired by other renowned artists such as Alan Hazard, and from there, Venus Reels, her daughter Yolandi Smith, and Courtney Reels, who was a known wampum carver in the years past, as well as Domingo Monroe, who is a renowned wampum carver and jewelry maker. He combines a lot of materials such as wampum, silver, and copper together, which is very beautiful. Thank you, Risca, again, for giving artists like myself this opportunity to tell their stories and showcase their artwork. And thank you for allowing myself to showcase my artwork under the Folk Fellowship. And I feel that this is a very important conversation to have when it comes to folk art within the Native community, especially the Northeast community, being that Risca resides in Rhode Island. So it's great to continue those stories. And this is my story with not only beading, but with wampum weaving. And I carve a little, but I mostly love beadwork and wampum weaving. Um, Thank you, Tabatni, in our language. Thank you. And until next time, Peace Kanash.